So in our last few moments together, I'd like to share a story with you, and then we'll bring it to a close at the end. And the name of this story is called The Two Journals. And it goes like this, and it relates to us. It relates to us as we're approaching this time of Christmas break, of getting away for a few days. So this is how it goes. As soon as you pack up your things and head home for the Christmas winter break, I want to remind you of those who will be waiting for you when you walk through that front door. Usually it'll be a beaming mom and a proud dad. Maybe after some time, a grandma or a grandpa will stop by for many of us, or an aunt or an uncle. All will be so eager to see you and to hear about your life. Whether it's in school, in the work world, whatever you've been doing, they're eager to hear about it. However, there are some who oftentimes get overlooked in this process, in the return home. Oftentimes, there are some individuals who cannot wait to see you, but then we forget. Remember them, so this story goes. Remember them. This is a story about a young man who was reminded of some gifts he forgot that he had. The gift didn't have a power cord attached to it. It didn't have a logo on the front of it. And it wasn't hanging in the stocking on the mantle. After a tough semester at college for this young man, Johnny was finally home for Christmas. He couldn't wait to get some of his home cooking and get some real rest. He couldn't wait to, he was really looking forward to seeing his old buddies who hadn't seen since the summer, and looking forward to the food and old friends. He didn't anticipate the hustle and the bustle which would greet him as soon as he would step inside the front door. And I know some of you have experienced this. He opened the door and yelled out, "I'm home." Within seconds, the ruckus began. Before anyone could get to him, he was greeted by his younger brother and sister. They circled him and began hugging on him and pulling on his jacket and asking him a million questions all at once. Johnny, what was this semester like in college?" They would ask. "Johnny, do you like the new basketball and football coaches? Johnny, have you made some new friends? Johnny, are you glad that you're home? Johnny." They were all so excited to see him. They were constantly smiling, knowing that Big Brother was back from college. It was a crazy time. After an hour or so of greeting, it was dinner time. Finally, he was able to sit down for dinner. The food was great. Mom made all of his favorites: lasagna, scalloped potatoes, and his favorite rhubarb pie. Right after dinner, not being able to hold it back any longer, his younger sister asked, "Johnny, can you take us now? Please, Johnny, can you take us now?" Johnny had told them both that when he got back from college, that he would take them out winter fishing. Being near the ocean, there was a historic run of fish right about that time, and his younger sister and brother had never gone before. Johnny was a seasoned fisherman, so he knew how to catch the fish. Big Bro was now home, and they could not wait to ask him, "Johnny, please, can we go tomorrow, please?" However, Johnny had lots of plans the next day. Friends were in town. Old teachers were expecting him to swing by, and then there were some internship inquiries that he needed to be sent out. He had lots of things to do. "All right," he reluctantly said, I'll take you both. We're heading out early, so make sure your stuff is packed. I'll get the rods and reels, Letty. You guys make sure you're up and ready to go." "Yay! Yay!" The younger sister and brother cheered as they headed to their rooms. Being encouraged early on in life to write everyday moments in a journal, they both of them put an entry into their journals before they went to bed. The entry read, "Going fishing with Big Brother tomorrow." The next morning, they hit the beach early, launched the boat, and went to the prime fishing spot, which Johnny was very, very familiar with. Little sis lost her hook and a weight within the first few minutes. Within 5 minutes, little bro got his reel all tangled up, getting line everywhere. After re-rigging their poles, he finally got them settled into fishing. The little bro would cast and retrieve, and the little sis would just bottom fish. just bottom fish. As they fished, one would giggle, the other would laugh. After a couple of hours, they had not caught a thing. Johnny moved the boat to another location, then they fished again. Stumbling around the boat, getting lines mixed up, and losing bait seemed to be the plan for the day. After having lunch and fishing all afternoon and early evening, they finally decided to head home. Johnny's younger sister and brother both caught a small bottom fish, lots of seaweed, and used the entire box of bait. They headed back, and the two of them could not stop talking all the way to the house. It was late when they finally got to the house. After a good hot meal, they all went up to bed. Each of them went to their journals, made some notes, and then jumped into bed exhausted. Johnny got a quick bite, looked at his watch, and went up to bed as well. Well, Christmas break went really fast. With only a few days remaining, Johnny had been invited to go out with some old high school friends. It sounded great, so he went upstairs to get ready. Thinking about a return to school, which was only a few days away, he's decided to get out his daytimer scheduler and look over his notes for this past winter Christmas break. Looking through his notes, he read one day, productive day, saw 3 buddies, got caught up. Another entry said this, sent in several internship inquiries, another very productive day, well worth it. Inadvertently, flipping back to the morning after his arrival home, he read his entry. It said, went fishing today. What a waste of a day. Took younger and brother fishing, didn't catch a thing, tangles all day, used a whole box of bait. Going fishing today has put me way behind on the break, way behind. Putting the day timer back down on his desk, he thought about how much time he had lost that day. Before heading out the door for the evening, he wanted to say goodbye to everyone, so he went over to his brother's room first. The door was open, but little bro wasn't there. Scanning the room quickly, something caught his eye. On the desk was his brother's journal, sitting wide open. Being somewhat curious, he walked over and started flicking through the pages. Not intending to stop where he did, he saw in the big headings, going fishing with Big Brother tomorrow. Since he was in the title of the entry, he turned to the page to see what had been written about on that day. This is what it said. Today was the best day of my life. I cannot think of a better day to have. Big Brother came back from college and spent the entire day with my sister and I. We had Big Brother all to ourselves. Can you believe it? He rigged up our poles. He baited our hooks. He fixed our lines when we were all tangled up. And then he even stopped and had lunch with us. One time, he grabbed me and gave me a big hug. The other time, he said that I was doing good as a fisherman. I only caught a small fish, but when I pulled it over the side, I knew Big Brother was proud of me. I will never forget this day for as long as I live. I will be sad the day he has to go back to college. I love him so much. With his eyes starting to swell up, Johnny closed the book. He quietly walked out of the room and hesitated just in front of his sister's room. Since he knew she was still outside playing, he decided to go into her room. He had to see it. He needed to read what she said about the day out fishing. Her journal was in the middle of her desk, wide open as well. Slowly he walked over, picked up the journal, and feathered through the pages to the day after he arrived home. It was the day they went fishing. It said, my big brother is so wonderful. He took my brother and I out fishing today. He could have been doing anything today, but he spent the time with us. We had him to ourselves for the entire day. Today he made me feel so special. I feel so fortunate to have a brother like him. Though I was tangled up most of the day, I can truly say that I would not trade that day with my brother for anything in the world. I love him so much, and I will dread the day he has to go back to college. I will never forget our day with him. With tears streaming down the sides of his face, Johnny slowly closed the book. He stood there quietly, staring straight ahead. All thoughts of his fast approaching evening plans disappeared. Suddenly, while staring out of the window, in the distances he heard some sounds. It was the sounds of children playing. It was the sounds of his little brother and his little sister. Pulling out his cell phone, he found the addresses that he needed, and he sent a group text to all of his friends whom he had plans to meet with that night. The text went something like this: "Guys, I've changed my mind about going out tonight. I'm going to spend the rest of the day and evening with some gifts I have forgot to open. I only have a few days left and I want to be with them. The gifts are my brother and my sister. I love them and I know they love me. See you guys the next time around. Johnny." After closing his phone and gathering his thoughts, a huge smile came over his face. Then, with a joy and excitement that he had not felt in a long time, he went to the window, lifted it up, and yelled out over the backyard, "Mary, Billy, where are you guys? Big Bro is on a rampage, and I'm going to get you all. You think Daddy wrestles tough. You ain't seen nothing yet. Here I come." After the clogging sounds of shoes were heard running down the stairs, all you could hear for the next 2 hours were screams, outbursts of laughter, giggles, and a bunch of "I love yous." Johnny had made a choice that day. He remembered that there were little eyes looking at him in a way that no other people look at him. 2 journals told the story that day. 2 journals reminded him that he is connected to something pretty cool. He was somebody's big brother, and never again was he going to hurry through or endure anything when he was with his brother or his sister. Johnny's daytimer had a new entry in it the following day. "Spent all evening with little bro and sis. The best time of the whole break. Can't wait to see them the next time home. Thank you, Lord." May you all have a wonderful time this upcoming break. If you're working a little bit, doing course study, and of course seeing some friends, be reminded of one thing. Those close to you will always be journaling. Maybe not making a physical entry into a book, but mentally journaling. It may be a mom or a dad, or a grandma or a grandpa or an aunt or an uncle. It may be even a little sister or a little brother. Before you make a dent in the universe this break, make plans to spend some quality time with them. Renew and build on relationships which will last your lifetime. If you do, I'm convinced that some will be thinking in their minds or writing in their journals, "This is a great day. We had him, we had her, all to ourselves." So, over this Christmas holiday, may you always read Scripture and pray. May you always lead. May you love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love others as yourself. May you encourage others. May you always be ready to give an answer for the hope that you have, and always be ready to serve. And then may you draw near to God, deny yourself, and do the word, and not just be a hearer only. Then I know, you and I know, that wonderful journal entries will be made. All right, you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for carving out some time, listening to this time together. One final thing. I love you guys. Have a great rest of this day and a wonderful Christmas break. Take care. Bye-bye.